a line to be 20 minutes at the grocery store, and then I get there and it's only 10 minutes, I probably won't lose my mind in frustration or anger. But if I go in being overly optimistic and I expect the lines to be 2 minutes long, then I will probably get frustrated, angry, and lose my mind. So, in short, being too optimistic is a bad thing. Being too optimistic leads to frustration and anger. Too much optimism, expecting the lines to be short at the grocery store, is a vice. Too much pessimism can be a vice too. So you want to just adjust your expectations to reality. Again, if I think about the possibility of failing, I'll see that it's okay to fail, which will make me less anxious about failing. If I deeply understand that I'll be fine no matter what happens to me in an external sense, I'll live more happily and more peacefully. Again, I won't lose my minds. And finally, these activities that cultivate right thinking, they're really not difficult. You can do many of them pretty much anywhere in a matter of seconds. And this is really a strength of Stoicism, since many religions and other philosophies seem to require a great deal of time to master meditation, a certain form of prayer, or a ritual, or attending church for hours on end, or what have you. Okay, number 8, it says, understand the external world is determined, but you have inner freedom to choose your attitude towards these determined events. So this theme says that the Stoic believes in external determinism, but internal free will. And this theme clarifies the first theme, what we can and can't control. So again, the Stoics are determinists. That's obvious. But they also seem to believe in an internal free will. They say we can't really change externals, but we can change our reactions and attitudes towards those externals. So we can control our actions and choose to do the right thing no matter the cost. The Stoics think that understanding the deterministic nature of the universe will also make you more forgiving towards others, since you'll recognize that people are controlled by forces beyond their understanding in most cases. Now, of course, one criticism of Stoicism is that if all the universe is determined, then I cannot choose to conform or not conform to it. So if determinism is true, then I'm forced to conform or I'm forced to not conform. So that's a problem. And the Stoics were silent on this. And although they were silent on this issue of free will and determinism, I've interpreted practical Stoicism to support external determinism and internal free will. And this means that the Stoics, in my mind, they were not pure hard determinists in the modern sense, but they believed in an internal ability to alter the way we see the world. The 9th theme says, because of their worldview and training, Stoics show calmness, humility, discipline, and indifference to pleasure and pain. So it's interesting that the modern meaning of Stoicism still captures these ideas of humility, discipline, indifference, especially the idea of being calm in the face of adversity. A very Stoic idea. This theme overlaps with the others and is a consequence of them. Stoics are calm because they are prepared for all scenarios, and they understand what's really important. Stoics are indifferent to their own pleasure and pain because they understand pleasure and pain are external, beyond their control, and they've conditioned themselves to be ruled by mind, not pleasure or pain. Again, they are disciplined because they are guided by mind and virtue, not solely by pleasure or pain. They're not hedonists. And I think it's really important here to understand that the Stoics give us a worldview and a philosophy of emotion and various techniques like premeditation that help us achieve these virtues of calmness, humility, discipline, indifference to pleasure and pain. In other words, these virtues don't just arise in a vacuum, they arise from the fertile soil that is the Stoic worldview. Okay, so the final theme is simply to stop whining. Okay, stop whining. Make the best out of any difficult situation you're in. So the Stoic worldview equips people to get the most out of life. Understanding emotions, they won't pity themselves in difficult times. Understanding nature's order, the Stoics will be more forgiving of what others do. Understanding the divine spark in each of us, the Stoics won't hate people who create adversity or gossip or whatever. Rather, the Stoic will calmly face adversity and thereby transform it into an advantage. So for example, my student may fail to become a professional athlete, but he could take his training and become successful in other areas, maybe a great coach, or perhaps the experience of failure will simply help him become wiser and gain more control over his mind. Now, of course, Stoicism is not for everyone. So, for example, most Stoics didn't believe in an afterlife, and they did not believe in a personal creator for the most part. These Stoics also arguably overemphasize the rational elements in emotion. So maybe some people are depressed and cognitive therapy won't help them because they're depressed due to chemical imbalance. Now, I think there are some people like that, but I think most people can be helped by the cognitive or the Stoic approach because most destructive emotions, in my opinion, are based on false beliefs, false expectations, unrealistic expectations, and so on. So in short, Stoicism is a philosophy that's helped many people live nobly and peacefully in difficult times, and it's one that will continue to have this positive impact on those like yourself who take the time to seriously study it. So continue your reading. Read Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, Epictetus' Enchiridion, Seneca's On Anger. Okay, you can read Cicero and some others as well. Watch the YouTube video entitled Seneca on Anger, and there's a couple other good videos on YouTube. And then start outlining and writing your essay. And in your essay, you want to mention at least 3 major themes of Stoicism. You want to illustrate each theme with some quotes from Stoic primary source writings. And then argue, for example, you could argue that Stoicism is helpful to a person in the modern world or harmful to them in some ways.